from the Ministry of Darkness.
The Undertaker hints at a much more entertaining series finale, but we don't get any of that, sadly.
The Undertaker!
Haha, your voice cracked! After hearing that boring ghost story, I bet Paige wished she actually stayed dead after getting sawed in half in the previous episode.
To hell with all of you!
The Undertaker suddenly flies away and nobody questions it. If anything, he could have used that to help himself out with his scary stories.
What'd she do that was so scary?
I woke up and she was still there.
That's weird, but you gotta admit, for people who enjoy doing one-night stands, that's actually a scary thing to think about.
I'm not allowed to reveal that information.
Wait a minute, does this mean Vince McMahon made people sign NDAs because Vince himself is under NDAs? Holy shit, this is a scary story! Dun dun dun!
They discovered the owner had been well.
I'm trying to pay attention to Vince's scary story about the haunting, but I can't help but feel irritated that those marshmallows are being wasted on the ground. 5-second rule.
Covered in blood and guts.
You must have walked into Camp AEW's property if that's the case. Sounds less like a scary story and more of an accidental misdirection.
No!
Vince McMahon survived that. Also, I won't lie, if this series finale was the ghosts actually killing off the campers one by one, starting with Vince himself, this probably would be more entertaining to watch. Vince McMahon criticized the campers for being out of bed after curfew, yet has no problem with John Cena and Nikki Bella doing just that. And why would they be writing newsletters past midnight?
I can't publish photos of Stephanie undressing.
Why not, actually? People may actually read those stories if that were the case.
I could never do anything to disappoint Mr. McMahon.
Even when you tried to run away from the camp on the very first episode, or when you shaved out The Rock's eyebrow, forced Mark Henry to get constipated, did heel tactics with the campers out of jealousy with Cena too, stuffed your crotch in the pool jets, and destroyed the cabin walls of the boys' bedroom? Person who tells haunted story but doesn't believe in it ends up experiencing the haunting himself cliche. It's one of those storylines again.
Developmental neurobiology.
Skip! More and more child abuse. This house is full of light all the time, but Vince conveniently walks in the dark at the one time he's afraid of a ghost haunting him. Goldust survived that.
Meow.
This entire sequence of a moose meowing like a cat. I bet Vince is more confused than he is scared. Goldust survived that. Since when did getting punched in the face cause Goldust to become a squeaky toy? Goldust was literally on the ground of Vince's living room, but somehow went into the closet before Vince was even in the bedroom? The fuck? Goldust survived that. I'm starting to think Vince is just doing this on purpose at this point. Paul Bearer is Vince McMahon's bartender, apparently. Also, shouldn't Paul be the father of The Undertaker if that's his deal in the WWE storylines? Why has this never been thought of even now? Let's just be thankful The Undertaker decided to conveniently sit in this one position to read his book when the naked R-Truth came into the room to complain about having no towel.
Where's my towel?
What?
What chance? Vince McMahon started talking to the obvious Paul Bearer therapist and didn't once figure out that Paul was the therapist by the chair being turned away as well as his high-pitched voice.
Oh, I also meant to ask, what is that music you're playing?
Vince McMahon is scared of Paul Bearer, except when he's curious about music, apparently. This image repeats itself over and over with every ransacked building Nikki Bella shows John Cena. Vince McMahon survives this.
You don't need to know where I am.
John Cena somehow hasn't figured out that the obvious Sergeant Slaughter voice belonged to Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter conveniently moved out of sight when John Cena turned in his direction, but was in view when John had his back turned. And shouldn't it be more difficult for John to hear Slaughter's voice given the direction Slaughter is talking? John Cena running toward Vince's cabin required flashbacks to previous episodes just to show that this is the series finale.
Goldust!
Oh, looks like Goldust didn't survive this. Whoops, my mistake. I will just take a sin away as an apology.
That could mean...
Camp WWE literally ends with everyone dying while Steve Austin enjoys life. I guarantee the writers got too lazy and didn't give a shit about the show anymore. Well, I'm just gonna end this series with 1,000 sins. After 6 years, I finally finished the Camp WWE Sins. Goodbye, everyone. That's a wrap.